Hello and welcome to this video. In today's video, we are going to discuss one aspect of India and Russia relationship, and it is about Russia's silence during Operation Sindoor. And I hope you know about Operation Sindoor. It has been widely covered by media during the recent times. But very surprisingly, India's very good old friend Russia remains silent during this operation. So why so? So, what are the reasons behind Russia's silence? So, when India is in a kind of war or in a military operation, so being a very trusted and old friend of India, we would expect Russia to speak some words in favor of India. Although Russia condemned Pahalgam terror attacks, but they did not say anything during Operation Sindoor. So, why so? That is what we are going to discuss today, and I think I will discuss three main topics. And if you think there could be some more reasons why Russia remains silent, you are free to post them in the comment section. Okay, so the thing is, the first reason can be, I think, Russia's confidence with India. So, see, India and Russia's relations dates back to the 1960s, and India started purchasing Russian or back then Soviet Union's defense equipment. So, what defense equipments did India buy actually from Soviet Union? So, almost everything: fighter jets, helicopters, warships, guns, missiles, submarines, tanks, and so on. Every weapon, every military weapon, you name it, India would purchase it from Soviet Union, and this process began back in 1960s. And recently, India also did some high value purchases from Russia. So, Sukhoi fighter jets, S-400 missile defense system, aircraft carriers. India's aircraft carriers have been built with Russia's help, and Brahmos missiles. Who can forget about these wonderful missiles? Okay, and we have seen how these Brahmos missiles have performed during the recent Operation Sindoor, when they were widely used by Indian Air Force to target Pakistan's air bases. And Brahmos was co-developed by India and Russia. Similarly, Sukhoi jets have been co-produced by India and Russia. So Russia was quite sure about their own weapons. Okay, so Russia knows most of the defense equipments being used, be it fighter jets or missiles or even submarines, aircraft carriers. Most of these equipments are based on Russian technology. Okay, so Russia was perhaps quite confident about Indians' military capability. That is why this could be one reason that they chose not to speak any word, because Russia knew if India has to fight a very brief war, India would be able to give a very decisive and solid blow to the enemy nations, to India's enemy. So this could be one reason. Of course, I think if the India's enemy or India's adversary in this case had been China, then perhaps Russia would play an important role. If there had been, I mean to say, if there had been an India-China war, in that case, Russia's involvement could have been there. But since it was Pakistan, and Russia also knows Pakistan is not a strong enemy, so Russia chose not to interfere anything or say anything in this short war, if we call Operation Sindoor as a war. Okay, so the second reason I think is Russia's own involvement in a war with Ukraine. So since February 2022, Russia has been in a war in Ukraine, war against Ukraine, and Russia has grabbed some land from that particular country. But the war is still going on, and recently America's President Donald Trump also talked about ceasefire between Ukraine and Russia, and both parties were about to meet at Istanbul in Turkey. So for these reasons, Russia is also involved in war, and that is why perhaps they had their leadership had no time or no occasion to get involved or to comment something about Operation Sindoor or India's military operations against Pakistan. So I think Russian leadership got busy with their own war things, on problems, and that is why they refrained from commenting anything during Operation Sindoor. And the third reason, which I think is Russia might have left India to defend herself. Okay, why? Because you see, so India's fight was against the terrorists based out of Pakistan, and I don't know what Russia thinks about those terrorists. Although Russia condemned Pahalgam terror attacks on Indian tourists, but in this case, those terrorists based out of Pakistan, they harm only India and Indian interests. And that is why the Western nations are also not very keen in condemning or keen in pressuring Pakistan to stop their terrorist operations from Pakistan soil. And Russia themselves might also have some similar viewpoint about the terror threats from Pakistan, or maybe Russia does not consider those terrorist organizations, those organizations in Pakistan to be as terrorist organization, and that could be also one reason why Russia showed zero interest or zero comment. They passed zero comments about Operation Sindoor or India's operation against the terrorists. However, despite these silences or despite Russia's silence, India and Russia relationships remain very good. And recently there was also a news that this S-400 missile defense system is said to have worked perfectly during this operation. And there was a news that India would request Russia for more such S-400 missile defense system, or both countries could even join hands to build a better version of this missile defense systems, which would be eventually called S-500 missile defense system. So I don't think that there would be any crack between Indian Russian relationships despite Russia's neutral stance during Operation Sindoor, and this relationship will continue to remain strong in the coming years also. So friends, these are the points I had to discuss with you. If you think there could be more reasons, please feel free to share them in the comment section. I hope you have liked this video. If so, please share the video, subscribe to this channel so that I can continue creating such interesting content. Thank you very much for watching this video. I will soon see you in another video.